Welcome to our meditation time. I invite you just to find your way into comfort, whatever that looks like for you. If closing your eyes helps you to be comfortable, then do that. If it's lengthening through your spine so you can feel the breath moving up and down the body, feels comfortable, then do that. If you need to lean back or lie down, just really get into the habit when you come to meditation, when you pause, to letting the body find comfort. And then as you do, it's like it communicates to your nervous system that it can find comfort as well. So just find a steady breath here, just a slow breath in and a slow breath out. And just usher yourself into this present moment. Just letting go of whatever you were doing in just the moments right before this one. The moments have passed, and here we are. And I would encourage you just to check in and notice. Notice what's going on in your head. Maybe it's really quiet. Maybe it's really busy. Notice what's going on in your emotions. Maybe they're steady and calm. Maybe you're carrying something really big right now. But just notice all the parts. Let them feel as real and as tangible as the spine feels, and the hips and the shoulders and the jaw. Feel the totality of you. And let it all arrive to this present moment. And so today, our inspiration comes on the cusp of this incredible day in nature tomorrow, this day of the summer solstice. Where we live in our hemisphere, what this means is that tomorrow we will have more minutes of sunlight than any other day in the entire year. And then we know that as the time begins to change, we start to shift until all of a sudden it's December and we look up and realize that now we're at the shortest day of light of the entire year. And the seasons continue to go. And so I would just encourage us each to just pause for a second and just think how amazing it is that we can predict and feel the consistency of these shifts in nature. We know that right around this time, every single year, the sun rises and it stays in the sky for more minutes than any other day. And then we know that little by little, eventually the days will get shorter and the seasons will change. So just kind of picture that. How many summers have you lived? How many summer solstices have you experienced in your life? When we start to think about our life in these moments, it really does cause you just to pause and marvel. I think this is my 55th summer solstice. And I wonder if all the ones before this one, I marveled at them. That I was amazed by the consistency in these patterns of nature as I am now. And then I wonder if next year, on my 56th one, will I still feel this beautiful rhythm of this longest day of the year and what that means in the calendar. Because we get so busy in our lives, we rush and we do all the things, and we're constantly looking ahead and anticipating, or we're sitting and spending time thinking about what has already passed and lamenting and regretting, that sometimes we miss these moments that deserve our marvel. Nature keeps showing up. These patterns are so consistent, we can bet on them. We know there will be a longest day of the year. we know summer will pass and autumn will come. But how often do we pause and feel such gratitude for these consistent rhythms of nature, so that when our lives feel haphazard and manic and crazy and busy, all we have to do is look at nature and connect to the steadiness there. It's there waiting. We see it in the phases of the moon. You feel it as you stand on the ocean's edge and you watch the waves come in and go out. You feel it as the weather changes with the seasons. And tomorrow, we will see it in these extra minutes of light. So I'd ask each of us, where in your life do you need some consistency? Where do you need some predictable patterns to help you feel grounded, to help you feel steady? And so just think about that to yourself. Maybe there are parts that are already steady and grounded and stable, but are there also parts that need a bit more grounding, that need a bit more security in them? Maybe it's in a relationship. Maybe it's at work. Maybe it's something to do with your health or your finances or your future. So what I would encourage us to do is first understand, where do we need that stability? Where are we feeling like we might be missing it a little bit? And as we turn our attention to this summer solstice, this longest day of light, could it be this moment when we can reset, where we can realize that these consistent rhythms of nature are a gift? We connect to the atmosphere around us, and that atmosphere connects to us. It's as if it is offering us stability and predictability and steady, gentle rhythms. But we move through our lives so fast, so rushed, that we miss them. And so let's just pause here together today as, again, we're on the cusp of this solstice tomorrow. What I would encourage us to do in this pause is commit that tomorrow we want to feel the consistent rhythm of what's happening around us, instead of being so drawn to the parts that are busy and frenzied and scattered. And so as we sit here in the quiet together and we breathe in slow, deep, rhythmic, steady breaths, understanding the parts of us that need stability and grounding, that need an anchor, something that we can tether our spirit to. Let's think about that summer solstice. What will you do with all those extra minutes of light that are coming to us tomorrow? Will you marvel? Will you pause? Or will you rush through to get all the things done? And so let's just take a slow breath in right here. And a slow breath out. And a cleansing breath in. And a relaxing breath out. And let's just pause here and see what comes up in your mind when you think about this idea of marveling at the consistent, beautiful patterns of nature tomorrow. Continuing to breathe slow, deep, steady breaths. Understanding that these patterns in nature continue to come again and again and again until finally we recognize them. We find steadiness within them. And that steadiness is what allows us then to move through our lives in the way that we need to. Tomorrow morning, just before the sun begins to peek over the horizon, the birds will begin to sing. You may be awake to hear them, but you may not. But there is consistency there. Just before the sun comes over the horizon, the birds begin to sing. And then that sun will peek up right over that line in all those hues of pinks and oranges and yellows, these golden hues, and they'll begin to rise. And we'll see it as if it's physically moving through our sky until all of a sudden around noontime tomorrow, you'll look up and it's right above your head, prominent up in the sky. And it will begin to shift as if it's moving across the sky, going down toward the west, preparing to set. And the birds will grow quiet. These patterns happen for us every single day. Researchers everywhere are talking about the effect of nature on our nervous system, the effect of nature on our ability to regulate ourselves. But what we know from this practice is this is not new neuroscience. This has been part of our practice from the first people that sat down and tried to still the fluctuations of their mind through their meditation practice. Those rhythms of nature were there then, and they are here for us now. But it's up to us to decide if we're going to slow down our busy lives. And I'm talking to myself as much as to each of you. Will we commit to slowing down and feeling that sync up with the beautiful, predictable, consistent rhythms of nature? Or will we continue to match the rhythms of this busy, frenetic, noisy world? Maybe tomorrow is summer solstice, this day of all this light that represents fire and transformation. Maybe this could be our day to reset. We're at the halfway point in the year. Maybe this fire could represent a newness for each of us. A commitment to noticing these patterns and finding comfort within them. So let's take a slow, deep breath in together. Feel the expansion as you breathe in. And then exhale. Let it go. One more, breathing in. This idea of committing to notice the light tomorrow. And exhale, sealing that commitment to at least try to do something a little bit different. And as we close out our practice, my wish for each of us is that we start to notice more. We pause, we notice, we marvel, and we feel this beautiful sensation of stability, consistency, and grounding coursing through every inch of our being. And then we feel gratitude for the nature that has given it to us. I wish you a beautiful summer solstice, a day of noticing, a day of heat, a day of transformation, and a day of light. Namaste.